MRN Crew Call on MRN.com is presented by MoneyLion, the world's most powerful financial membership. MoneyLion, here we roar. And also brought to you by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
That we're good to go to the end. A bunch of them guys will have to slow down to save fuel. It's always nerve-wracking. You always get nervous. I make 15 pace laps behind the pit stall. Just hoping everything goes good, and it's played off today.
Pretty much all the pressure was on the gas man, and I was just there to help push the car out.
Well, fuel only, it's all on the gas man, right? We just kind of stand there and cheer him on, hope he gets a good plug and gets it full.
It's all about communication with our engineers and myself. It's all about the details and that stuff. It really wasn't much of a call for us. We just felt like we had to, gas only and go. But just great job from everybody at the engine shop and everybody back at Stewart-Haas Racing. We had a great car all weekend long, and you hate to not win when you have a car that strong. So it was a lot of fun today to finally get it back in victory lane.
And welcome to MRN Crew Call. I'm your guest, Rocko Williams, brought to you by MoneyLion. That was Mike Morneau, a.k.a. Shrek, and Daniel Smith, tire change and tire carrier for number 4. Congratulations to Kevin Harvick. They found victory lane for the second time in 2019, and they are definitely showing that they are playoff bound and playoff ready. And they're going to prove that here soon. And we're definitely going to take the chance this show to go back with Mike Morneau and review some of the things that he talked about earlier this year when he was a guest on our show. We're also going to dabble and talk about the youth movement. We know that the youth movement is very prevalent along the drivers, but the same thing is going on with the pit crews. And these youth, these young athletes, there's things that they need to learn. And they had the opportunity to take advantage of all their new skill sets with the track split up, and the Xfinity cars were in Mid-Ohio. You had the Cup cars at Michigan with the trucks. So they had the chance to stand alone away from the Cup cars, and those Xfinity pit crews had the chance to really showcase what they could do in their process to move up. As well as we have our clutch performers. We have some videos of the Jackman versus Carrier. We're going to quell some debates that we had. I was in Michigan this weekend, so I got to speak with a lot of the athletes on pit road. We had debates and we had discussions. We're going to bring all that out today. Plus, like I said, we will go back and look at Mike Morneau as he talks about the different challenges that team faces performing with a driver like Kevin Harvick. With him being playoff bound, we had to go back and see how they're going to deal with those challenges of performing under the pressures of a driver like Kevin Harvick. So you don't want to go nowhere. We have a great show for you today on MRN Crew Call. We'll be right back and after we talk to Michael Morneau.
Did you know that banks collected over $15 billion in unnecessary bank fees last year? Come on, enough is enough. It's time we took back control of our finances. That's why MoneyLion is proud to bring you the Financial Crew Chief and to be a NASCAR sponsor. Look, no one knows more about hard work and pursuing their dreams than NASCAR fans, drivers, and teams. So we want to bring you the kind of banking that the big banks would never build, with features like zero-fee checking and zero-fee investment accounts. And because life is also meant for a join, with MoneyLion, NASCAR fans get even more. We're giving away 1,500 NASCAR tickets to our members this year. Plus, you can get 5% cash back on NASCAR tickets, at-track purchases, and all purchases at NASCAR.com. Learn more at MoneyLion.com or download our app. This is America's most powerful financial membership. MoneyLion, here we roar.
It wasn't just built to be a museum. It was built to be a shrine to the history, heritage, and future of the sport we love. This is our house, the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and it's packed full of classic and present-day cars, including Petty's, Earnhardt's, and Waltrips, as well as interactive experiences, realistic racing simulators, and much more. Plan a trip to the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte. Tickets at NASCARHall.com. NASCAR Hall of Fame. This is our sport. This is our house.
Going short track racing, and I am in studio with Mike Morneau, rear tire carrier for Kevin Harvick, and beast mode tire carrier. And what you guys do not understand, let me give you a little history lesson about our guy, Mike Morneau, and about myself. Being that I was a former athlete, there's two types of crew members. You have your racers and you have your athletes. It's safe to say that my boy Mike right here is a racer.
Absolutely.
Would you agree?
Yeah. Racing is what brought me down here. I drove front-wheel drive cars at Oxford Plains when I was 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Racing is, in my hometown, history in my hometown, the Oxford 250. So that's just something that I always wanted to do.
It's something that you wanted to do early on, and see how that contrast. I did not want to do NASCAR at that age you were talking about. It was not even on my radar,
right?
And here I am, 13 years in. I think my first year was 2005. Your first year was 2004, correct?
Yep.
So I mean, here,
yep.
and let me give you some background behind that. When I first came into the sport as an athlete, I had no idea. I didn't know the history. I didn't have the respect of the sport. So as I came in, my whole focus was to be the best tire carrier possibly, because that's what I was doing. I was bringing the athletic side of it. And when I saw individuals like yourself on pit road in my first and second year, I didn't even realize it was your first and second year either. I just assumed, being that, you had that tie, that connection to racing, you were there forever. And it just didn't resonate or dawn on me that, hey, he was a rookie just like me or a first-year guy. But I was a bit intimidated by the guys who knew about racing, and I knew so little coming in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Did you have any similar feelings towards athletes coming in? Because at the time, they really didn't start coming in when you first came in. But over time, I would say about maybe like 4 years into that, there really was an influx of athletes coming in. How did you feel about that?
Right. I mean, like you said, when we first started, the athlete wasn't really in the sport yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then yourself and others started to come along. So, of course, you're intimidated by them because I wasn't an athlete. I was a racer.
Mm-hmm.
So I just had to be sure that I was
a very
best.
big racer.
A big racer.
Very strong racer.
Yeah,
6'3",
yeah.
300 pounds is, most of the time you think of a racer, you're thinking of a little guy, but I'm pretty sure they had to use a lot of sheet metal to build those cars around you.
It was tight squeeze for sure. It was tight.
But and that's what I'm saying. You're here, but the type of wins that you've had, and it's just unprecedented, the amount of success that every crew member in my position are aspiring to be an elite crew member. They are a bit envious and motivated by the career that you have had. 8 wins last year alone by Kevin Harvick. Kyle Busch had 8 wins as well, and he's well on his way to do that again this year, as well as your team too. And you know better than anybody, running up front is totally different than running in the rear, right? So for you to have been running up front, as long as you have done and continue to do, that says a lot about your work ethic and your skill set. Can you give me some secrets, some trades?
I did that just before the show, remember?
We're going to get into that because, yes. So. But how have you made that happen for so long?
Both of
Is it lucky?
No,
Are you lucky?
I mean, right place, right time to get started.
Mm-hmm.
But both my mom and dad were workers, you know. They were just your normal worker, you know. They were
So they instilled that in you early on.
Yeah, they instilled that in me early on, and so I just took that work ethic, and people telling me, no, you can't do it, or I don't think you'll make it, or and prove them wrong.
So you took that work ethic and you took that back home. New Hampshire is your home track. Can we play the video of your New Hampshire, the rain delay win that you had in New Hampshire? We have a video of that victory post race, and y'all were very excited, and just shows you. Gives you a glimpse of just a little snippet of some of the things that you've accomplished in your career. If we can play that video and leave your video with.
Yeah, boys, great job. Great job, guys. That's the way to fight all weekend.
It's crazy to be on the car the first week and get a win. I mean, once I got in the rhythm, doing the first couple stops, we've got into our rhythm, and it was good. So it was enjoyable for sure.
Kevin is a driving son of a gun, let's say that. He's a wheel man. So I had no doubt if our car was faster that we would get the win.
I didn't think we were racing today, so everyone was kind of just chilling out, relaxing, thinking we were just going to get called to the hotel at any time. And then all of a sudden the weather broke, and it was like, all right, we got to go. And it was just chaos to get the race going.
Yeah, we're just a little damp on corner exit at turn 4 and corner entrance at turn 1.
Being home track, you hope you can win. It don't always happen that way. I probably should have won 6 of these things here, and this is my 3rd one. So I'm happy that we made it happen.
Stewart-Haas as a company has been amazing this year. Everyone back at the shop's doing an amazing job putting together cars, and it's great to see it pay off.
Ooh, I hate you. I hate you so much. You see why I hate you? Let me tell you why I hate you. He said, yeah, I probably should have won 6 of them, but yeah, this is my 3rd win. He's just so cavalier about your wins because you've had so many.
Yeah, and like I told you earlier, it didn't start out that way, but been blessed, over the last 10 years. Have a bunch of wins.
Let's show you how blessed. MoneyLion, we're fortunate enough to have them partner with us, and we have a feature presented by MoneyLion called the Financial Crew Chief. And the Financial Crew Chief, I want to read something, and this is why we're going to talk about the All-Star win last year. And let me just read this. Despite suffering a severe snowmobile accident his senior year at Oxford Hills Comprehensive High School, Mike Morneau, with the encouragement of his high school automotive instructor, Mitch Green, enrolled at UTI, NASCAR Technical Institute in Mooresville, North Carolina. After successfully completing the UTI course, he enrolled in the Pit Crew U's 5-on, 5-off race team performance coaching program. The Maine's native first job after these courses was at Haas CNC on the Jason Leffler number 00 nationwide car at the time. He crewed for many drivers of that car until 2009 when he became a member of Tony Stewart's number 14 car. Tony won the championship. So you started out with Tony. I'm going to keep going. Some of you may recall that Kevin Harvick complained about his pit crew midway through the 2014 season. The number 4 and 14 crews swapped. Morneau, as part of Harvick's crew, won 2014 championship. This was Morneau's 2nd national championship winning team. He also went on to the 2018 All-Star race at Charlotte Motor Speedway and won that, and $1 million was divvied up amongst that team. So $1 million went to that team, and it was allocated through bonus, and that is motivation for crew members to perform well and to do well, getting that money. What did you do with that money, or how do you allocate where that money goes?
Well, everybody gets a bonus. Yep. So you just gotta be smart with it. I've been doing it 15 years. Hope to do it, longer. But you gotta have money put aside.
So you kept 900,000 of it.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, that would have been awesome.
No, you gotta divvy it up, and you gotta you have to focus on where that money goes, because that is why we do this. Not only because we like to compete, but you can earn a great living doing this, correct? And
absolutely,
you knew that going on because you grew up in that, which is why you enrolled at NASCAR Tech and UTI, right? Yep. What was that process like? Is it like any other university where you apply for financial aid or you apply for application? What was that process like?
Yeah, I did. I applied for financial aid, and also my parents said that they'd help me out a little bit as long as I got good grades. They were willing to help.
Okay.
So I got a student loan.
These hardworking parents.
Yeah, hardworking parents.
Your mom owns a convenience store up in Maine?
Yes, sir. Yeah, a small hometown convenience store. But so my mom and dad told me they'd help me as long as I got good grades. And then, of course, once I graduated, then it was all on me to finish paying them off. But it worked out.
So you packed your stuff up, you and a buddy. And this is where that name Shrek came from, right? Yeah, and a buddy moved down to North Carolina, enrolled at NASCAR Tech, and then where did 5-off, 5-on come into play at?
So I was at class one day, and I overheard people talking about pitting race cars. Yeah. And I was like, well, that sounds like something would be fun, So the buddy that I moved south with, he was like, well, I'm going to go try it out. Well, it was 5-off, 5-on pit crew performance. So we went there, and
Shrek, you mean to tell me when you were 13 years old at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, you never thought prior to someone telling you that pit stops would be fun? Was that on your radar then?
No, absolutely not.
But you were just driving and building
then,
cars?
Yeah, driving and building cars then. Didn't really know much of the pit crew side at all.
Really?
And like I said, so when he said, hey, I'm going to go to the school, I was like, well, I'm going to join you.
Okay.
So because the first few months I lived here, I didn't even have a car.
Really?
I rode with my roommate everywhere. And that's about the time the movie Shrek came out. I was the big guy. He was the little guy. So Shrek it was from then on out.
Shrek it was from then on out. So you started training at the pit school, correct?
Pit, yeah.
And then what happened then? How did Stewart-Haas come about?
And
Tony Stewart and your relationship with him.
So Lance Munskard was a pit coach at 5-off, 5-on.
Okay.
And he was a pit coach at Haas CNC Racing at the time.
Yes.
And so he called me one day and said, hey, man, you want to come for a tryout? I go for a tryout, and Daniel Smith is there, my tire changer now, 15 years later. So we tried out, and Booty Barker took a chance on us. Two young kids.
Old Booty.
Old Booty took a chance.
I remember Old Booty.
So
that was a good crew chief,
yeah.
and he was a very smart man. Booty, my memories for Booty, he rolled around in that wheelchair up and down pit road. And my first introduction to Booty, he was like, oh, yeah, you're going to do well, because I was an athlete. And he was really fond of the athletes as it related to the pit crews.
Mm-hmm.
So he was really fond of that. So Booty gave you your chance, and you started off on Tony Stewart. You've climbed a lot of fences. You've got into a few fights on pit road, working for Tony Stewart. And then what? How was it the Kevin Harvick switch come about?
So that was probably one of the toughest deals, right? Because I was on Tony's car from 2009 until then, and won a bunch of races with him. And those guys on Kevin's crew that year, 14, Kevin was running up front, and they were a rookie group of guys put in a tough spot, right? I mean, not only is that car running up front, but you got Kevin. Kevin was brutal back then. He's gotten a lot better now.
What do you mean he was brutal back then?
He was hard on them, but the way Kevin
on his
is,
crew members.
on his crew members, but the way Kevin is the way I am to myself. I don't expect anything more out of anyone else than I do myself. So
I agree.
So that's the way he is. He's 110%. He expects 110% from you, and it's still that way to this day.
No, and that's the way it should be, and that's the reason why you're in the position that you are now. Y'all have had a lot of changes just this year alone. You've introduced a new pit crew coach and Craig and as well as some other changes on other crew members and additional drivers. What has that process been like? Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, I mean, Stewart-Haas does a great job of putting unique individuals with unique individuals, to get the best product, to go over the wall. Sometimes that might be 2 or 3 young guys having to work together and grow together and overcome the struggles. But I think all of us that have had them struggles are able to help them. Like they can come to me on a daily basis and ask questions, and I give them the old school, the old man veteran, what they want to hear response. And then they kind of take it from there.
Is there added pressure on you with you being a veteran and, looked up to on campus? Is there any added pressure there, or do you embrace that?
No, I think I embrace it pretty well. I enjoy working with the young kids. Like I said earlier, when Daniel was out sick, we had MJ on the back of our car.
For y'all that don't know, Daniel Smith is the rear tire changer, your teammate as well for Kevin Harvick as well.
Yep. So MJ filled in for Daniel while Daniel was out. And I embraced him, tried to help him do the best he could. And now, so from last year filling in for 6 months, now he's a primary tire changer on the 41 car. So he embraced his opportunity. I helped him embrace his opportunity. And, now he's got a full-time starting spot on a car in-house.
When you see these guys on pit road, the 18, the 22, and the success they're having on pit road, how do you view your team as it relates to those other 2 teams that are running really well?
I think we're right there with them, tit for tat. I mean, we're right there battling in and out. Our team, we are striving to be consistent, right? Consistently fast, but I mean, that may sound easy. It's not. So we're just trying to stay on the consistent side instead of doing a 12.8 one time and a 15 flat. We're just trying to stay 13 flat. Like we're trying to do 13 flats every single time. Keep Kevin in the ball game, and
he's the type of driver. And what you're doing for all of our younger crew members who are listening to this show, what he's explaining is you don't have to hit home runs every single time out the ballpark. Base hits will get you just an amount the same. More runs in the game, you'll win the ball game to the point where when you're pitting a car that's running in the top 5 or has the propensity to win or has the ability to win week after week, you have to be consistent like that. Is it safe to say that as far as the teams that you have at Stewart-Haas, are y'all the most consistent out of the teams, or does it fluctuate?
I'd say we're all right there. I mean, like I said, Stewart-Haas done a great job putting groups of guys together that do quality pit stops, and we're all right there. I mean, I think on Dartfish this week, we were all right there, 3rd, 4th, 5th, I mean, we're right there.
That's good. No, and you are. And the fact of the matter is, y'all are running very well. And you're always on TV with your stops. Leaving from Fontana, STP week at Martinsville this week, at STP 500. What are some of the things that you have to reprogram yourself as far as you have to prepare for Fontana a particular way? How do you prepare for Martinsville now?
Well, so, Fontana, we have a liner tire. And then when you go to Martinsville, you have no liner. So the tire is lighter.
I love that.
But California frame rails are higher, so the car's a little bit higher when it jacks up. You go to Martinsville, it's on the ground, harder to jack up. So you got to muscle memory yourself to get lower to hang the tire at Martinsville than what you do at California. Same with adjustments.
Are we still double pumping in Martinsville, you think? Or has setup allowed us?
The guys that are going to get their tails whooped.
Yes.
So we try our best to set our car up where we can one pump both sides.
One pump both sides. So when you see that double pumping, you know it's going to be a long day for them.
Absolutely.
You know, if you're running up front, you know, competitively.
Yep.
You know, there's going to be a lot of things to watch for in Martinsville. That's why I'm excited to watch that race. It was one of those races where I made sure I said my prayers the week before, because the propensity to get hit, you know, in that tight pit road, and just for things to go awry there, you know, ramp up. So it's going to be a lot going on there, you know. So we'll get into that. We'll dive right into that. We have Getting Schooled coming up, and I really am going to school some people here. And you've already schooled me earlier, but anyways, we'll be right back, and we'll talk to Mike some more. Shrek some more.
Clutch Coffee Bar in Mooresville, North Carolina is redefining the drive-thru coffee game in Race City, USA. The Clutch experience is fast, friendly, and delicious. Quality drinks and unmatched customer service is the name of the game. Clutch Coffee Bar offers signature lattes and mochas, custom flavor-infused energy drinks, smoothies, and more. Over 25 flavors, there's something for everyone. Visit our 2 locations in Mooresville, 356 Williamson Road and 154 West Plaza Drive. Open daily from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Power up today with Clutch Coffee Bar.
Here's your chance to win a set of your very own Hercules tires. Go to HerculesTires.com/MRN. Simply register, and each month we'll give away 1 set of tires. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading mileage coverage to get you wherever you need to go, no matter where the road takes you. Register now for your chance to win a set of Hercules tires at HerculesTires.com/MRN. Hercules Tires. Ride on our street.
Jeff Gordon has come from virtually nowhere.
He's one of NASCAR's all-time greats.
For the 93rd time in his career.
A pioneering champion.
Be at the right place at the right time.
The kid who took on the good old boys and changed NASCAR.
We started to go toe-to-toe from Earnhardt.
MRN presents a 10-part podcast series that traces Jeff Gordon's rise to NASCAR legend. Jeff Gordon, the colorful career of the Rainbow Warrior. Available now at MRN.com and your favorite podcast source.
Getting School, presented by the Goddard School. The best childhood preparation in social and academic success. Visit GoddardSchool.com for more information. The Goddard School. Learning for fun, learning for life. I love this section right here because I get to teach. You know, I hated class, but I love to teach. And what I'm going to teach you guys today, with your help, Shrek, is the right rear adjustments. And why are we going to teach the right rear adjustments? Because all right, bear with me when we get into this. You know, of course, we've had the rule package change, and they're trying to get the cars closer together. They want the racing better. I don't care.
Right.
I could care less about that. You know, my focus is on pit stops. It's always been on pit stops, but with this package and these adjustments to try to get these cars to race better, there's a lot that needs to be figured out. And a lot of that is done during a racetrack. So when you're trying to do an adjustment during a race, during a pit stop, what does that do to the pit stop, Shrek?
Well, some teams it slows them down, but my goal is for it not to slow me down.
And that's where you make the money. You know, that's why you're the big-time money maker, 15-year veteran that you are. But anyways, let's break this down to the 4 different ways that you can make right rear adjustments, okay? And we have a video accompanied with this. Bear with me. I'm going to try my best to explain this to you. And if you want to see the video, make sure that you go to MRN.com or the Motor Racing Network fan page on Facebook, and you can view this podcast and see these videos that I'm talking about. But other than that, right rear adjustments, there are 4 different styles to make a right rear adjustment that I have seen in Fontana. And as we start the video, the first way is presented by the number 12 car. And Wade Moore as a tire carrier. Big tire carrier. As you see, he approaches the car from the front. We call that beast mode tire carrier, where he drops off the right front, proceeds to the right rear, makes the adjustment on the right rear, but his wrench is already on the deck lid because the tire changer brought his wrench out. Therefore, he indexes the tire, grabs the wrench off the deck lid, makes the adjustment. That is way number 1. The second way is the carrier sets the wrench and index the tire first. This is demonstrated by Justin Edgell in the number 17th car that is coming. He jumps from the rear of the car as the car approaches pit road. He approaches the car from the rear, sets his wrench on his own, indexes the tire first, then goes back and makes the adjustment. That is way number 2 in how to effectively make an adjustment on a 4-tire stop. Coming up next, the third variation of the adjustment stop, the carrier sets the wrench, makes the adjustment first, but he comes from the rear, and this is our guy. This is our big-time ball player, our beast mode tire carrier, Shrek. Notice what he does here. As he approaches the rear, he inserts the wrench, does not take his hand off the tire, and makes the adjustment with one hand, tosses the wrench, indexes the tire. Nobody else can do it like that. Nobody else is doing it like that. And I believe that is a difference maker in that team alone. And keep in mind, all of these different styles are player dependent, which brings me to the fourth variation. And this is, I call it the mouth. He mouthed it. If you notice right here, the front tire carrier, he comes with the beast mode position, dropping the tires off from the front, goes to the rear, indexes the tire. The wrench comes out of his mouth. He carried the wrench in his mouth the entire time. As you see right here, look, comes around, the wrench is in his mouth. Tire comes off. I slow-moed it for you too so you can get a good picture. Bam! Indexes the tire, mouthed it out of his mouth, sets the wrench, makes the adjustment. That is the fourth variation. Now, neither one is right or wrong, but it is safe to say that guys are finding different ways to be effective making adjustments because they're important. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to adjust. You have to be able to adjust on the car and do fast pit stops. So each team is a little bit different on their personnel. So you got to do what's best for your personnel.
Look, what's best on your personnel? Okay. First of all, if I, you know, my side time hustle is I'm a recruiter for NASCAR Drive for Diversity. So when I'm recruiting tire carriers, especially the fact that we have 5 crew members instead of 6, there's a lot of load on that tire carrier and that jackman now,
yes.
right?
Yes.
So with that being said, I'm looking for taller tire carriers. I'm looking for tire carriers. Not only are they athletically inclined and they have a very low center of gravity, great footwork, but their wingspan and their height is a great advantage to that. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I would say that, you know, being 6'3" does help, you know, adjustments in the car for sure.
What about 310? How does that help you?
Oh, that helps. I mean,
explain that.
Yeah, so you know, when you outweigh the tire by as much as I do, it don't stand much chance. You know,
you move that thing around like a little baby.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I treated my tires like my baby. You know, I cleaned them up. I got them all dressed with tape. You know, you gotta treat those tires very important. But you did enlighten me to a little tidbit to your success. What makes you so successful in the way that you do it, and why would another tire carrier have a bit of a harder time pulling off it?
Like I told you earlier, I'm left-hand dominant, so that wedge wrench is in my left hand.
Yes.
To stick it in the hole and turn it with my dominant hand.
It's funny that you say that because it shows on that 24 stop, the mouthed stop. When he mouthed it, and as he set the wrench, well, what happened with the car when it jackman? It dropped. Mm-hmm. And as the car drops and you're trying to set a wrench, you know better than anybody.
You're going to miss.
It's now maybe 9 times out of 10, maybe that one time you won't miss.
Right.
But most of the time you will miss. So securing that wrench early is very important. Would you agree?
Yeah, and that's the reason that we do it the way we do it. Is I'm comfortable with, the car's already up usually, or coming up to my wrench when I index it in the car. And then, the rest is just, I've been doing it a while.
So let's break this down. Like I said, for all of our aspiring all-star crew members who are listening, Shrek has the ability to do adjustment stops better than anybody in the world. Is that right? Is that what you said?
That's what I try to do, yeah.
Oh, I thought that's what you said.
No, I can't say that, but I try, yes, absolutely.
You're not the best in the world?
No, not the best in the world. I try, though.
Not even a little bit?
No, I try. I'm a humble guy. Karma is bad, but so we stay humble.
You have 45 wins.
Yeah, well, that's all right.
Is it 55? And you're still humble?
Yeah.
Anyways.
You got to stay humble.
It's killing me, man. Your humbleness is killing me. Anyways, man, thank you so much for elaborating and exposing your secret to the world. Now everyone is going to try to be left-handed dominant. Every tire carrier out there.
The good thing is most of them don't know that till today. So there's only 40 of us, right? So
they can try it all they want.
That's right. But
unless you're 6'3", 300 pounds, it will not work, right?
That's right.
Hey, we'll be right back with more. We've got our Clutch performers coming up. We got rankings coming out and a lot of information. Stay tuned.
What's up? Vaughn Gittin Jr. here. How would you like the keys to a 700 horsepower custom-built Ford Mustang RTR designed by none other than NASCAR champ Joey Logano, the RTR design team, and me? It's one of 3 Mustangs you could win in the MoneyLion Here We Roar sweepstakes. How do you enter? Just text ROAR to 95615 or visit roarsweepstakes.moneylion.com.
No purchase necessary. Instant 2019. Must be 18 or older. For official sweepstake rules, visit roarsweepstakes.moneylion.com.
At the Goddard School, teachers customize lessons so children can explore their interests, have fun, and learn the skills they need for success in school and beyond. From infant sign language to pre-K students tackling STEAM learning, our Flex Learning Program or Fun Learning Experience is grounded in research that shows the most genuine learning occurs when children are having fun. Our teachers leverage this through lessons inspired by children's imaginations. To enroll, visit GoddardSchool.com. The Goddard School, learning for fun, learning for life.
The race to the championship is coming through Phoenix. It's the 2019 NASCAR semifinal race weekend at ISM Raceway. Now it's more personal than ever after a $178 million modernization project that gets you into the infield, into the garages, and even closer to the cars and drivers. The 2019 NASCAR semifinal race weekend at Phoenix's ISM Raceway, November 8th, 9th, and 10th. This time, it's personal. Lock in your seats early at ismraceway.com.
Welcome back to MRN Crew Call, presented by MoneyLion. I'm Rocko Williams, and the Clutch Coffee Bar Performance of the Week, my favorite part of the show. It goes out to Chad Emmons. Chad Emmons, I hope I pronounced that right. He substituted for Evan Marcall, who was on first baby daddy leave. He had his first newborn, so he was absent that race. And if I was Evan, I might have been a little stung at the fact that, you know, my driver won in my absence. At the same time, you know, he was elated to see the birth of his first son. At the same time, Chad Emmons, congratulations to you stepping in that role as a fueler in a race where the outcome, depending on how much fuel you had, was a big deal. Thank you for getting it full. I know your team thanks you for getting it full. Good job. You will get your free coffee. I'll come find you at Bristol. In a backup role, being able to step in like that, good job for stepping in for Evan Marshall, and congratulations to you. At the same time, you know, the fuelers go underrated most of the time. You know, everyone, you know, pays attention to the tire carriers, the jackmen so much. But Michigan was a perfect example. When you saw 30, 40 laps to go and everyone feathering their laps and trying to stretch out that fuel, Kevin Harvick could go full bore the whole time. And a lot of that had to do with the crew chief and when he called him down. But at the same time, at the end of the day, when it comes down time to get that car full, that fueler has to perform. He did a very good job. And that is a position that goes underrated. Not a lot of glamour with that position, but it shows how important that is. Because good job to you, Chad Emmons. At the same time, I alluded to the fact that the youth movement in our sport is very prevalent right now. You have, you know, older drivers retiring. You have younger drivers making a name for themselves. The same thing goes along as it relates to pit crew and the athletes over the wall. You have older crew members retiring, getting pushed out by the younger athletes that are trying to make a name for themselves as well. So when you're at a race like Mid-Ohio and you're split between the Premier Series, a lot of the veteran experienced drivers will be in Michigan. Then you have a lot of the Premier Xfinity guys in Mid-Ohio. And some of those left Mid-Ohio into Michigan, and they traveled a lot of miles within those 2 days. But for the ones that stayed, and congratulations to Austin Cindric, by the way, and his pit crew for winning 2 in a row, you know, back-to-back going that way. But it allows those athletes, those young pit crew members at these standalone races to really shine and showcase what they have to these higher teams. At the same time, there's some stuff you must pay attention to. Mind you, I told you I was in Michigan. A debate came up between a carrier and a jackman, and I wanted to use this platform to quell that debate and give you my opinion on it. And if we can play our video, I'll walk you through that debate on what we're talking about with the help of Kenyatta, who was in the pits, our mainstay DJ on pit road. As you can see, Ross Chastain is coming in. This jackman with a year of experience. This is one of the most sought-after jackmen. He is very athletic, and he is making a name for himself in the sport. But mind you, this is his first year. Look at the rear of the car. The rear tire carrier is having issues getting that rear tire on. He looks to the jackman and gives him a motion, hey, give me a little bit more height on that. And as the jackman watches him struggle, he finally gives him a little hype. The tire goes on. At the same time, the debate was, is this a jackman era or is this a tire carrier era? I think this is a tire carrier era for the simple fact that the car came up, the tires came off. If the car is high enough for the tires to come off, it is high enough for those tires to go on. The technique that you must use as a tire carrier is called the knuckle scraper. I coined that term because your knuckles are literally scraping the bottom of the ground because you have to get so low to make sure that that tire gets on. And it depends on different setups, the truck setups or super speedway setups. But at the same time, the one rule you should live by as a tire carrier, if that jackman can get that car up and those tire changers can pull that tire off, those tires can go back on. Don't fault the jackman for not having that car back up high enough. What you need to do is work on your flexibility in your hip flexors, work on that knuckle scraper technique, get that bottom hand very low, and it needs to scrape that ground. That tire will go on. That's my opinion. Next, for our youth movement, we have, if I want to show you a video of I call it head on a swivel. As a young athlete on pit road, you get so enamored with the fact that you did good. Boom, you have to pay attention on pit road. Heads up, heads on a swivel. Be cognizant of your surroundings. After this two-tire stop, you will see this jackman remains right there for a moment. Mind you, behind him, a wreck is going on. He's in a very dangerous spot right there. Soon as the pit stop is over, hustle back to the wall, grab your equipment, get out of the way, especially on yellow flag laps. When you're pitting on a yellow flag lap as a young crew member, you must be cognizant of where every car is on the track prior to entering pit road and where it is while it is on pit road in relation to your pit stall. Be cognizant of at least 2 pit boxes behind you, where the car is behind you and that car behind him. Know where those are and they're coming around you. And when that stop is over, you can do your little dance a little bit, but get back to the wall and get out of harm's way. That is my advice to the youth movement drivers. That is our Clutch Coffee award winner. Congratulations to you, Chad Admins, you young crew members out there who are watching out here. Pay attention to those veterans and those all-stars that are doing it. And don't be afraid to ask questions. We're going to Bristol this weekend. Short track, small, tight pit boxes, a lot of action, a lot of stuff going on pit road. You have to keep your head on a swivel out there as a young athlete. At the same time, I expect to see some great pit stops out there. I'm looking forward to Bristol. I'll be out there walking up and down pit road, and I can't wait to get out there and see night racing in the fastest half mile in the world. I'm your boy, Rocko Williams. Thank you for joining us. I hope you learned something from my boy, Mike Morneau. Stewart-Haas is on the roll. I can't wait to get to Bristol. We'll see you later.